Hello and welcome back to my channel What If Deku 2.0. Join us as we delve into the realms of fanfiction and fantasy, bringing you the best stories and discussions. Today, we're kicking off part 4 of our series, What If Deku Mastered 3 Swords Style like Zoro? If you enjoy this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more content in the future. The author of this story is GhostKnightTwilight from Archive of Our Own. All the relevant links are in the description. Feel free to say hello to the author on their profile. Now, let's dive into the fanfic. Talking. Thinking. All Might talking. All Might thinking. Random use. Random use. After the attack on the SJ, the students were taken back to school to recuperate, take a chance to rest, and give the police their statements. Izuku, Aizawa, and 13 were taken to Recovery Girl's office to be treated for their injuries. The teachers escorted the students back to their homes and had nearby police stations and heroes patrol around their homes so nothing else happens. School was cancelled the next day, and the students had the day off with tomorrow off as well. The teachers meanwhile met up the day after the Ase raid to discuss yesterday's events. Conference room. Most of the staff were seated at a conference table, with the only ones not there being, of course, Aizawa and 13. I hate to say it, but we have been caught with our pants down. We should have known after the press break in that we should have upped security both inside the school and its facilities. Snipe deciding to break the ice. Hindsight is 2020. We can't change the past, but we can prepare for the future. The school's security will be upgraded as well as better alarms. I have asked Power Loader to design some better security measures and will have them implemented as soon as possible. Nezu said at the head of the table. We got unbelievably lucky that no one was killed. The only major injuries are Aizawa, 13, and Izuku Midoriya. Recovery Girl said that they should all be fine after some rest and a few uses of her quirk, thankfully. The rest of the students are a little shaken up, but might be able to pull through. However, we should have Hound Dog give therapy sessions to those that want and need it. Midnight said, relieved but angry. Agreed. Hound Dog and the rest of the teachers have also agreed to Midnight's suggestion. Knock knock. Everyone turns to the door wondering who it is. Nezu smiles, though already knowing who it is. Come in. The door opens and a man with short black hair and stubble walked in. He is wearing a suit, trench coat, and fedora. Hello, I am Detective Tsukachi. I am here to discuss the Uschi incident. Naomasa, it's good to see you, old friend. Toshinori All Might in skinny form stood up to shake the detective's hand. Everyone, this is a good friend of mine. We have worked together and known each other for a long time. We would team up to solve cases, and he has helped me out a lot as a hero. Also, don't worry, he knows about this form. Toshinori gestures to his skinny body. Don't say known each other for a long time. It makes me feel old. Tsukachi chuckled, happy to see his friend still acting the same. We have asked for the police's cooperation with dealing with the villain break-in. Since the detective knows about Toshinori's secret and is one of the best at the station, I have asked him to lead the investigation. Nezu. Thank you, you are too kind. Sadly, I am about to bring the mood down since I have the reports on the Namu. Tsukachi pulled out some files and gave a copy to each teacher. During the attack, the leader said that this creature was created to kill All Might. After our autopsy on the headless body, we have confirmed it to be physically enhanced. This thing, I don't know what else to call it, is as strong as All Might. We were able to find the head of the Namu, which had regenerated a new body, and have taken it into custody. Everyone gets shocked at the news and start going through the reports. Why are there 2 bodies of the creature? Does it have a cloning quirk, Cementos? It doesn't. The Namu had a regeneration quirk, and the student Izuku Midoriya had found out the limits of the quirk and was able to defeat it. The body of the Namu can't regenerate a new head if decapitated, but the head can regenerate a new body. Midoriya had cut the head off, and All Might was able to punch it far away to keep it from attacking again. It actually took us a bit to find it, but we were able to capture it. The regeneration quirk is why there are two bodies. Tsukachi. I can't believe a first year was able to defeat something that strong. Present Mike said, causing All Might to be a little proud of that. The Namu was durable enough for most attacks to not hurt him, but it didn't any means of defense against piercing or slashing attacks. Midoriya, being trained in sword combat, was one of the few who could actually harm the Namu. Tsukachi. Wait, it says on the file that the creature had multiple quirks. How is that possible, Ectoplasm? The leader said so himself. This Namu was created. DNA results show that it used to be a small-time thug, but after some kind of medical experimentation, it had the quirk's shock absorption along with the regeneration. It was also biologically engineered to be as strong and fast as the #1 hero. However, it seems to be brain dead. It can barely be classified as alive. Once the police found it in the woods nearby, it didn't put up any resistance. The Namu only exists to follow commands. Tsukachi. That just brings up the question of who commands it and who made it. Who was behind the raid, Power Loader? From the villains captured, we were able to find out the names of the leaders, Shigaraki and Kirigiri. These two were the only ones to escape, while the rest were captured thanks to the other students and you teachers. Tsukachi pulled out pictures from the USJ's security cameras that showed the two. These two were the ones who rallied the other villains to help raid the building, and they call themselves the League of Villains. While all the other villains were again small-time thugs, these two are different. Shigaraki was the one who broke into the school and has a disintegration quirk. Kirigiri has a warping teleportation quirk and was the one to be able to bring the villains there for the attack and had managed to wound 13. Tsukachi said, causing the teachers to know who to vent their anger on. Nothing came up when we tried searching the database for their names or quirks. That means that these two are possibly using aliases and are unregistered. Tsukachi. That can't be possible. Once someone turns 4, their quirks are recorded and put on the quirk registration list. Even if their names are fake, we should still be able to figure out who they are from the registration. Vlad King. I know, but there are no quirks like theirs on that list. We think that they must have never done that and lived in the shadows until now. Tsukachi. Strange. This is something unheard of, and what makes this worse is that there is no way to go after them at this moment. What we need is more information. What did the other captured villains and student statements say, Nezu? Well, they say that Kirigiri is something like a servant to Shigaraki. Statements say he did what Shigaraki commanded and isn't likely to be the mastermind behind this. However, it is also believed that Shigaraki isn't the mastermind behind this either. He seemed to act like a spoiled brat and constantly used video game terms. While he is smart, a student Todoroki said that he was able to almost correctly analyze both his and another student's quirks. He didn't seem to be charismatic enough to gather so many villains to join him. Tsukachi. Then who is it that is behind this, Present Mike? The theory is that the one who is behind the attack is also the one to give the Namu multiple quirks. Someone who is able to biologically engineer a creature like Namu and is charismatic enough to gather other villains is most likely the real leader. After interrogating some of the villains, a few said that they were actually able to see Shigaraki talk to someone when they were recruited. They couldn't see who it was though. Whoever was talking to Shigaraki, they were talking through a phone. Tsukachi. Toshinori felt his scar burn as memories of All for One came to mind. That can't be possible. I crushed his head with my own fist. There is no way he could have survived that. But he is the only one who I know that gave quirks. Toshinori looked to Nezu and saw him nod his head at him. Looks like Nezu also thinks that he is most likely behind this. If he is, I swear you won't escape me a second time. Thank you, Detective Tsukachi. I believe that for now there is not much else we can do. In the meantime, we must make sure we are ready for this league to strike again. Nezu. Sir, what about the sports festival? Should we cancel it? An event like that is probably not a smart choice right now. Snipe. It will go as planned. I was talking to the student board and sponsors earlier, and we came to the conclusion that it is better to still do it. It is not only too important for the students to take part of, but even the league won't be able to attack again so soon after their defeat. They will most likely hide for a while and wait until they are ready again. Nezu. The teachers nodded their heads in agreement, even though there were those reluctant to do so. Then I suppose this meeting is over. Nezu stood up and stretched. Great, I have some students to pick up. Toshinori stood up and headed to the door. Why are you doing that? They have the day off. Midnight. Some members of Class 1A and 11H student want to see how young Midoriya is doing. They heard that he woke up this morning and want to thank them for everything they did at the USG. However, because the campus is on high alert, they will need passes to enter. Toshinori. That's sweet of them. Here, let me come with. I want to check in on him too. Midnight. Sure. Just let me get the passes and I will meet you at the entrance. Toshinori then walked to the teacher's lounge. Ua Gate. It's crazy how the school was able to rebuild the gate and reinforce it so fast. Ochako said as she waited with Gyro, Momo, Tsuyu, Mei, and Ida. They were all wearing casual clothes and had met up at the station before heading to the school. Yeah, where do they get the budget for this stuff, Gyro? It's the logical thing to do. It was during the break-in with the press that gave the villains a way to slip in and get the information needed to invade the USJ. So, to prevent something similar happening again, the school would first fix where the problem started. It won't take long for UA to upgrade other security measures as well. Momo. I am glad to see UA take action so quickly, and with Power Loader, the school will have its security updated before classes resume. Ida. I just hope that Power Loader will have the support students help out with security upgrades. I have so many different babies that will make villains think twice about stepping a foot onto school grounds, Mei said as she started going through her blueprint notebook and looking at her various invention ideas. Hello there, students. All Might's voice rang out as he and Midnight exited the school. All Might, thank you for allowing us to check in on Midoriya. Ida bowed as the two walked up to them. Not a problem, young Ida. I am just happy to see you kids already forming friendships with one another to the point where you would come in on your day off to see if one of you is doing all right. Friendship like that is a great thing, ha ha ha. All Might laughed as Midnight nudged him. That's great and all, but they won't be able to come in if you don't hand out those passes. Midnight. You are quite right. All Might proceeded to hand out passes to everyone. Because the school is on high alert for the time being, you students will need these passes to enter the school. Even your student IDs, which usually acts as you pass, won't stop the alarms going off. Be sure to keep them on your being at all times until it is time to leave. Then you will give them back here at the entrance. Thank you, sir. Everyone says as they put their passes on. Now follow us to Recovery Girl's nurse's office. Now, even though Midoriya is awake, don't bombard him immediately. He is still recovering and needs a bit more bed rest until he can leave. Midnight says as her and All Might lead the way. How is he doing? Ribbit Tsu looks down as she remembers the Aste. How scared and sad she was at how injured Izuku was after he had fought the villains. Midnight sees her and gives a kind smile. Don't worry about him. Recovery Girl said that his injuries looked worse than how they really were. He should soon be up and about soon. Thank you. Tsu gives a smile back. Soon the group reached the nurse's office and Midnight knocked on the door. Come in, Recovery Girl. They entered and saw Recovery Girl at her desk and Izuku sitting in his bed. What are you guys doing here? Izuku asked as he saw his friends enter the room. Before any of them could answer, Mei launched herself at him. Are you okay? How are your injuries? Do you need me to get you anything? Mei hugged Izuku, crushing his sides. Mei, I'm fine. Please stop, you're hurting my ribs. Izuku tapped her until she let go. Sorry, I just worried that my best friend got hurt. Mei pouted but stopped when Izuku patted her head. Don't worry, I've gotten better thanks to Recovery Girl. Mei smiled until she got hit by Recovery Girl's cane. Don't just run in and start yelling, and don't disturb a patient if you don't know how they are doing. If he was still hurt, then you would have done more harm than good. Recovery Girl held her cane as a weapon and had Izuku, Midnight, and All Might hold her back. We understand. She was just worried. Now please stop. All Might was thankfully able to stop the nurse from hitting Mei more. Fine. But if you do something like that again in the future, then I won't hold back. Understood? Recovery Girl gave Mei the stink eye, striking fear into her. Yes, ma'am. Mei shivered as the nurse walked away. As Recover Girl went back to her desk, everyone let out a sigh of relief and looked toward Izuku. Sorry for barging in, but we wanted to see how you were doing, Midoriya. Ida decided to be the one to explain. We were worried, and you being put on a stretcher then into an ambulance didn't help. Gyro. Aw, thanks guys. But as you see, I'm doing much better. Even Aizawa and 13 are doing better. They just need a few more checkups. I'm only here for a last-second checkup before my mom picks me up. Izuku smiles as he shows that his cuts and bruises are gone. Still, we wanted to see how you were doing. After hearing you faced off against that creature the villains brought with them, and that he was the reason you were hurt so badly, we were all concerned for your health. Oh, before I forget, I brought a get-well gift. Momo pulled out a small pouch from her bag and handed it over. I have brought you some tea leaves that I find delightful and hope you will enjoy as well. Thanks, Momo. I've only had water since I got here and have been craving something with more flavor. I'm sure I will enjoy it. Izuku gave a smile as he looked inside the pouch. As Izuku looked inside the pouch, a shadow soon casted over him. He saw this and looked up to see Tsu standing over him with a frown. You know, I was really worried about you. Seeing you fight that thing and getting hurt wasn't fun to witness. It was even worse after seeing you get hurt but still face off against it. Tsu gave Izuku the disappointed mother look as he looked down in shame. I'm sorry, Tsu. I just couldn't stand there and watch everyone get hurt and not do anything. Then after Aizawa got hurt and the Namu went after you and Mainta, I had to do something. I couldn't let that thing hurt or worse kill you too. And if I were in that situation again, then I will the same thing again. Izuku looked back at Tsu with no hesitation in his voice and determination in his eyes. Tsu tried to think of a way to counter back, but nothing came to mind. Sigh, I understand. You even listened to Aizawa when he said we had to leave. But that creature didn't give us much of a choice next time, though at least make an effort to come back without hurting yourself. The best way for a hero to celebrate a victory is to be alive to enjoy it. Ribbit. Of course. Beside, I didn't plan on getting hit. The Namu was just too fast. However, I will train to make sure that I will be fast enough to outspeed it next time. Izuku grabbed his Wado Ikemanji that was next to the bed and held it out. I have a dream that I won't give up on and need to be strong to achieve it. I will become the next #1 hero and world's greatest swordsman. Everyone looked on in awe that Izuku was still driven even after getting hurt. They smiled, happy that his fire hasn't wavered against the storm he faced. Mei saw his sword and got sad again. I'm sorry, Muscles. I heard that the swords I made got destroyed in your fight. If I had built them better, then they would have protected you and you wouldn't have gotten hurt. Mei slumped down, disappointed in herself. Izuku frowned that Mei was blaming herself and pulled out the Kodachi. Listen, Mei, the swords you made me did protect me. While the swords got broken, they still took a lot of the impact, so I didn't get hit with full force because of them. Then I was able to fight back using the Kodachi you made and was able to win with it. Izuku pulled out the Kodachi from its sheath, and the blade didn't have any blunt edges or chips. Look, this blade has no damage or wear on it. You made a splendid weapon that was able to help me. Izuku then handed the blade to Mei, who looked at the blade with reverence. Mei started to cry tears of joy as she inspected the blade. Asterisk sniff asterisk, I'm glad it was about to help out. I promise that I will make sure this baby won't ever fail on you. Thanks, Mei. Izuku was handed the blade back and put it away. Now Midnight started to cry with a smile on her face. Youth and the bonds of friendships are so amazing. I am glad I was here and was able to witness this moment, eh? Midnight squealed and cooed loudly. All Might patted Midnight's back to calm her down and pushed her towards the door. Here, let me take Midnight away and help her relax a bit. You kids keep chatting and enjoy yourselves. All Might kept pushing Midnight, then they left the room. PFFT ha ha ha, Izuku laughed and was soon joined by everyone else at the silly situation. The group then started to relax and talk to each other. After a few minutes of this, Recovery Girl gave Izuku his last checkup and told him he was allowed to leave. The group said their goodbyes and Izuku left to meet up with Inko. When she picked him up, she cried about how worried she was about him, while Izuku did his best to calm her down. Then when they got home, Iro visited because he was worried too and scolded Izuku for being reckless. Izuku felt bad because he understood where Iro was coming from. He had no plan, had to make something up on the fly, and even though he won, he still got hurt. Iro then hugged Izuku and praised what he did right, like protecting his classmates. Izuku hugged back and promised that he won't make the same mistakes twice. Izuku, Iro, and Inko then had dinner together and enjoyed each other's company for the rest of the day. Yua a day later. School has started up again now that their defenses have had an upgrade and the students are able to attend classes again. Izuku felt uncomfortable as he walked down the halls with only the weight of one sword tied to his side. It hasn't been long since I lost 2 of my blades and I already feel weird without them. I need to get some replacements soon, especially if I want to continue training with my 3-sword style. Izuku reached his classroom and Ochako, Momo, and Tsu were talking to each other. Deku over here. Ochako was the first to see him and waved for Izuku to come over. Hey guys. Izuku sets his stuff down at his desk. Glad to see you moving around all right. Tsu. Recovery Girl is Yua's greatest blessing. Izuku. It is great to know that she is here to take care of us. Momo. Now that I think about it, since she was able to do a great job healing Deku, do you think Aizawa will be able to teach today? Recovery Girl should be able to fix Aizawa right up, right? Ochako looks up as she ponders that. I don't know. My injuries looked like paper cuts next to Aizawa's leg. The Namu not only broke his leg, but had it bending in multiple angles. When you guys came in to check on me, Aizawa left earlier, but only to rest at home and had to leave in a wheelchair. I can't say how he is doing right now. Izuku. The girls frowned at hearing this and hoped their teacher was doing well. If Aizawa might not be able to teach, then who do you think would? Ochako wouldn't get an answer as the bell rang, and everyone went to their seats. Click-clack, click-clack. Everyone heard a noise coming towards the classroom door. They looked towards the door as the sound got louder as whatever made it came closer. Good morning, class. A tired voice said as the door opened and revealed Aizawa on the other side. As he walked in, the students saw him using crutches which were making the noise. They looked down and saw his leg was covered in a cast running from his heel to his upper thigh. Mr. Aizawa, it's a surprise to see you. Shouldn't you be resting, Tsu? Recovery Girl went a little overboard with my treatment. Aizawa gestured to his entire leg being in a cast. She said that by doing this then for the long term, I wouldn't feel any negative effects from my injury. However, you students should be focused on something else. Your battle isn't over yet. Everyone's eyes widened at what Aizawa just said. Some were confused by what he meant, some were scared that there were more villains, and some narrowed their eyes ready to face whatever comes their way. The U.S. Sports Festival is around the corner. Aizawa. That sentence almost had all of the students falling out of their chairs. Don't phrase it like that, Minta, Mina, Toru, Zoro, Kaminari, and Zoro yelled out, worried more villains had broken in. I will not apologize. The UA Sports Festival is an extremely important event for you students and should be taken seriously. Aizawa. But should we have a sports festival after the recent villain break-in? Won't that be a great time and place for more villains to attack? Minta. I have to agree. Why wasn't the event at least postponed for a later date, Tsu? It was decided from multiple groups that the sports festival should go as planned. It will be a show of power that UA isn't afraid from the break-in, and we are stronger than ever. It's important for UA to show its crisis management protocols are working perfectly. Besides, it would be insanely stupid for villains to attack an event full of heroes in the stands. But as a safety precaution, we will double security and increase police patrols. Aizawa. Is the sports festival that important? Kaminari leaned back in his chair with his hands behind his head. Yes, it is the biggest event of the year. Before quirks, the Olympics were the sporting event that the whole world watched. But after quirks started appearing, interest for it have died down. Not as many people watch it anymore. However, because of how US Sports Festival allows quirk use, it became more popular than the Olympics ever were. Izuku. Midori is right. Also, the festival will also show agencies and top heroes what you can do. They will be scouting you. This is a chance to show your potential and have heroes take interest in you, maybe even ask to be their sidekicks once you graduate. The downside is that your time is limited. This event only happens once a year. You only get 3 shots throughout your time here at UA to show what you're made of, and if you want to be a hero, you can't miss this. So, make sure you kids do your best and try not to disappoint me. Aizawa signs as he sits down in a desk chair. Now, because the school being closed after the break-in, we have some classes to catch up on. Thankfully, before the sports festival begins, your classes would have eased up to give you students some time to rest before the event starts. Instead, we will use some of those days to be brought back to speed on the curriculum while still giving you time to rest. Asterisk groan asterisk. Some students groaned as Aizawa said this. Stop complaining. Be thankful I didn't take away all of the rest time. But if some of you fall behind, then I will. Aizawa narrowed his eyes as the complainers squirmed in their seats. Next, there is a class missed that you still need to do, rescue training. Tomorrow we will head back to the USG to resume your rescue exercise. What? Aizawa was cut off again as some of the students shouted at that piece of info. Mr. Aizawa, isn't that insane? Mina stood up and slammed her hand on her desk. Quiet down. Aizawa's quirk activated as everyone became silent. That's better. I know that some of you are scared, but we have taken precautions, so another break-in won't happen. The police will be nearby. Principal Nezu will check in every now and then, and all teachers will be prepared to rush in at a moment's notice. This is an exercise that you can't miss if you want to be a hero. But does it have to be the USG? Why not do the training on school grounds or something? Tsu asked rationally. 13 designed the USG to be the ultimate rescue training experience. There is no other place that will be better to teach than there, and it would take too long to set something up similar on campus. Even hero agencies ask to use the USG to help train new recruits or help keep their top heroes be at their best. Aizawa. The students nodded their heads, understanding their teacher's logic. Now that you understand, let's get started on homeroom. Aizawa started today's lesson, but everyone's mind was mainly on the sports festival. Few hours later. The final class before lunch ended as everyone started talking to each other. I am pumped for the festival. I can't wait to show everyone how manly I can be. Kirishima flexes his arms. Me too. I just hope I can make a good impression. Zoro poses as well, aiming his elbows like he is about to shoot some tape out. Man, you're lucky, Shoji. Everyone is going to notice you first with how big you are and how distinct your quirk is. Minto looks up at Shoji, emphasizing how small he is compared to him. But none of that will matter if I can't show how strong and useful I can be. I need to work hard to show I have good control over my quirk and how I can apply it in different ways. Shoji looks at his limbs changing into different body parts. Wow, everyone is getting so pumped up. Izuku suddenly feels a weird aura coming from one of his friends, particularly Ochako. Guys, let's do our best, Ochako said as her bangs shadow cover her eyes and the aura around her, making her look possessed. Calm down there, crouching tiger, hidden dragon. You seem a little intense, Gyro said as she and everyone else were surprised to see Ochako look vastly different from how she normally is. Guys, I'm gonna do my best. Ochako gripped her hands at her side. Everyone was quiet, unsure what to say or what to do. Ochako turned to face everyone and lifted one of her fists into the air. I said I'm gonna do my best, Ochako said, causing some to just nervously cheer her on. Uraraka seems really driven to win, but why? Come to think of it, I don't really know why she wants to be a hero. Izuku though, as the final bell signaling that lunch has now started. As the group walked down the halls, Izuku decided to ask Ochako why she wants to be a hero. I want to be a hero for the money. Ochako almost mumbled that last part. Really? The whole group asks. Yes, but not for the reasons you think. Growing up, my family wasn't doing well financially. My parents run a construction company, but because the company takes more time building stuff to ensure that everything is up to code and meets specifications, we don't get a lot of clients. At first, I wanted to get one of those quirk licenses that allows someone to use their quirk for work purposes. Ochako taps her pointer fingers together as she looks down. Momo grabbed his chin and thought, I see. If you can get a quirk license, then you can easily cut costs on moving heavy machinery and save money from that. That would be able to help out your parents a lot. I know, right? Ochako points her finger at Momo. I would be able to help out a lot, but my parents say I shouldn't. Ochako then smiles and continues her story. They said that I should do what I want to do and not be worried about them. I always loved how heroes can help those less fortunate and looked up to rescue heroes like 13. So, I decided to do something I want to do, become a hero, but I will help out my parents as well. The money I make from being a hero will be used to let my parents live the easy life that they deserve. The group smiled at Ochako's goal and wished her luck in her pursuit. Bravo, Uraraka, bravo. You are heading towards one of the ideals of a true hero, and I salute you for it. Ida actually did salute her as Ochako got embarrassed. That's awesome though, Uraraka. I just want to help people smile and enjoy themselves, but I don't have a clear idea of how to do that. Your goals look more laser-focused than mine. Gyro scratched her cheek as she thought how to achieve her dream. That's still a noble idea, Gyro, and I'm sure UA will help you figure out how to achieve it. *ribbit**2. I am here with a question. All Might came around the corner, surprising the group. All Might, sir, what brings you here? Momo voices everyone's thoughts. Same as you students, lunch. All Might help up a bento box of what was presumed to be his meal. Ochako giggled at how All Might held up the meal like a schoolgirl. And I wanted to ask if young Midoriya if he would join me. I wanted to ask about some things about the Usei break-in, and lunchtime seemed like a good moment to talk about it. If that's all right? Oh well then, is it all right if I go with him, guys? Izuku looked back at the group, who all nodded. Sure. I'm sure with everything you did at the UST that it is important to talk about, so don't mind us. Gyro said as the others agreed with her. Thank you. I have taken the liberty of preparing you a lunchbox just in case you said yes. I can promise you it will be good. I asked Lunch Rush to prepare it, and that hero can do wonders for food. All Might help up said second bento box for Izuku. Thank you, All Might. I guess I will see you guys later. Izuku waved goodbye as he left with All Might. Hope you enjoy your food, Ochako yelled back before the group started to walk towards the cafeteria. I wonder what All Might wanted to talk to Midoriya about, Tsu asked as the group stood in line for food. Well, he did say he wanted to talk about the Uschi. Maybe he wanted to talk about the Namu, Momo thought as she grabbed her tray. I can't help but remember what Tsu said on the bus, about how Midoriya's quirk is similar to All Might's. Ochako grabbed a drink as the line moved. They may be different, but they are also really similar. You think All Might has taken a shine on Green? Gyro grabbing a drink as well. You think All Might noticed that as well and maybe wanted to give Midoriya some pointers? Ida put some rice on his tray. Maybe. Ribbit Tsu and the group got their food and headed to a table, unaware that Todoroki was nearby and heard what they said. All Might and Midoriya. Todoroki grabbed his food and went to a different table. Teacher's Lounge. All Might and Izuku entered the room and closed the door behind them. Once the door closed, All Might shrank back down into his civilian form in a cloud of smoke. That's better. We should have some privacy here, so I don't have to worry about my true form being seen in here. Toshinori took a seat on one of the couches. Izuku took the couch on the opposite side and sat down. That's good to hear. So, what did you want to talk about? Well, I do want to talk about the Uschi a bit. Because I used up my 3 hours earlier, I forced myself to go over my limit to help out at the Uschi. Thankfully, because of you, I didn't have to do much, but my time has shortened to about 2 hours and 50 minutes, and it will only keep going down as time goes by. Toshinori opens his bento. Really? Izuku stood up, spooking his mentor. Gah, calm down, you almost gave me a heart attack. Toshinori pounded his chest as Izuku got embarrassed. Sorry, sir. It's all right. Now eat for food, I don't want to waste your lunchtime. Toshinori passed Izuku his bento and he sat down again. Thank you, sir. But it's shocking to hear your time as a hero is running low. Sadly, this was eventually going to happen. My injury really makes things more difficult, and even if I didn't pass down one for all, I would still only have a 3-hour limit. Toshinori took a bite of his food. Though I am really thankful to Recovery Girl, because of her I am still able to eat solid foods. I would have gone crazy if I have to be on a fluid-only diet. Izuku thought about his favorite food, katsudon, and shuddered at the thought of not being able to eat it. Yeah, that sounds like hell. Moving back on topic, with my time as a hero going down, I want to help you prepare for your next challenge. The UA Sports Festival is 2 weeks away, and this will be your first public appearance. Toshinori. Yeah, Aizawa told us about that. With the whole world watching, I have to do my best. Izuku took a bite of his food and nodded his head in approval. All Might is right. Lunch rush can do wonders for food. This will be one of the few times to prove your worth. I want you to announce your presence to the world and show everyone that you have what it takes to be the #1 hero. Toshinori. Do you really think I can do that, Izuku? I know so. I mean, you took down something that would have given me a hard time. Toshinori smirked. Well, I happened to have to write tolls for the job, and it happened to be a weakness of his. Izuku scratched the back of his head bashfully. Still not a bad job, though I wish you didn't get hurt as much as you did. Toshinori. Not my fault that thing was going to kill Tsu and Mainta. Izuku shot his mentor a look. Ah yes, one of the biggest problems a hero faces. Should the innocent take a hit or the hero? The answer is usually the hero, but I say, why not the villain? Those bastards deserve it for thinking it's all right to hurt others to get their way. Anyway, I want you to prepare for the sports festival. As a teacher, I can't play favorites and only focus on you. I need to also help out your classmates. However, I can help point you in the right direction if you have any questions. Toshinori then took a sip of some tea. I will thank you. Right now, I have to worry about tomorrow's class. We will be returning to the Uschi to actually do what we were supposed to do in the first place. Izuku cleaned his face with a napkin. I know, Aizawa told me this morning. While I don't want to spoil anything, I will come by later for something special. Toshinori hid a giggle as he plans to surprise the students with a fake villain encounter. I just hope you won't scare my classmates. Some were already worried when Aizawa said we will be returning and they might still be scared, Izuku said before finishing off his meal. Are really? Toshinori looked up as he thought about his plan. I don't think my plan will be that bad. Just take a willing hostage to go along with my plan and have the students work together to save their classmate. Izuku saw the look on Toshinori's face and narrowed his eyes. If you are planning to scare my classmates, who just went through a terrifying experience, then I will tell Principal Nezu and Recovery Girl. Izuku stared down at Toshinori, making him squirm in his seat. And no, nothing of the sort. I wouldn't dream of it. That's like forcing some with a fear of dogs to run around some guard dogs with a piece of steak to get over their fear. I know better than that, Toshinori nervously said as he now had to rethink of his plan. Izuku continued to stare at his idol for a couple of seconds before closing his eyes. Good. Izuku then started to drink his own tea. Toshinori let out a sigh of relief and decided to change topics. Back to the sports festival, Nezu wanted me to tell you something. Oh, what? Izuku took a sip of tea. For placing first in the entrance exam, you get to make the opening speech. Asterisk PFFT asterisk asterisk cough cough asterisk what? Izuku said after almost choking on his drink. You get to make the opening speech. You got first place in the practical and scored in the top 5 on the written exam. Every first-year student who gets the top scores in both makes the opening speech, usually hero course though. The second and third-year representatives are chosen by vote from the teachers. Toshinori then handed Izuku a handkerchief. Asterisk cough asterisk thanks. Izuku cleans up his face and hands the handkerchief back. That just caught me off guard. Do I really have to? Yes and no. You can refuse, but it's better if you do it. Whoever makes the opening speech gets to stand out first because they had the highest scores, and if they can give a good speech, then even better. It is the best way to make a first impression for the heroes, so long as you don't panic, make a fool of yourself, or say something stupid, Toshinori said as Izuku him gave a deadpan look. It's not like I want to do that. Asterisk sigh asterisk, but you do make a point. I guess I'll do it. Izuku concedes and nods his head. Great, it's settled. And don't worry, just figure out what you want to say and practice saying it, and you'll do fine. Toshinori pats Izuku's shoulder and smiles, making Izuku feel better and smile back. Thanks, Yagi-sensei. No problem. Now why don't you head back to class? Lunch is almost over. Sure. Izuku cleans up his bento box and leaves the teacher's lounge. The opening speech, huh? I just hope I do all right. A few hours later. The last class just ended and everyone was getting ready to leave. As they opened the door to leave, the hallway was filled with other students who were waiting for them. What's going on? Zoro tries to leave but was blocked. School's over, guys. Why are you here, Kirishima? We won't let you hold us hostage. We won't let the school be our prison, Mainta. You idiot, they're here to check us out. Since the sports festival is still happening, they came to scope out the competition, Bakugo said, pushing Mainta out of the way. Izuku understood what Bakugo was getting at and got in front as well. And because our class survived a villain attack, we are the ones to watch out for. Well, if you want to check out the competition, then can you at least not get in our way, please? Some of us have trains to catch, and I bet you guys want to go home too. The other students shifted around nervously until one of them got in front. He had indigo hair, bags under his eyes, and had a bored look on his face. Sorry about this, but you guys are kinda a big deal. Surviving a villain attack will have everyone watching the festival keep an eye out for your class. However, we want the crowds to be watching us. You see, those who failed to get into the heroic course can still get into UA. They can go to the general course if they still scored well enough on the written exams. And that would be us. The indigo-haired guy then gestures to the other students. My name is Hitoshi Shinso, and we are the general course students. Sadly, some of us wanted to be in the hero course to become heroes and didn't or couldn't get enough points in the practical to be admitted. Shinso said as Izuku heard Shinso bitterly say couldn't. I think I get it. His quirk must not be combat-oriented or has a specific use that wouldn't have helped him in the exam. Unless he found a way to take down the robots, he had no chance of getting in the hero course. Izuku thought as Shinso continued talking. Luckily for us, there is still hope to achieve our goals. Shinso smirked. If a general course student does great in the festival, then we can be moved from the general course into heroics. And to make room for the new student, the reverse is true too. A hero student who does bad enough will be moved to the general course. Most of Class 1A's eyes widened at that piece of info. This is more than checking you guys out. This is a declaration of war. Shinso then left as the other general students left along with him. *TCH* like I care. I'm gonna get first place and no one can stop me. Bakugo then left with Todoroki leaving as well, while the rest of the class were still wrapping their heads around the declaration. Are we really that big of a target, Ochako? Like Midoriya said, we were able to fend off villains during the Usj attack. We have a leg up on everyone else now that we have first-hand experience dealing with villains. Tsuyu. Then suddenly another student popped out of nowhere or stood at the classroom entrance. He had gray hair, sharp teeth, and had weird steel-colored eyelashes. Hey, I'm Tetsu of Class 1B, the other heroics class, and I am here to tell you that you may have the spotlight now. But during the sports festival our class won't be in your guys' shadow. We will show that you guys aren't the only class that has what it takes to be heroes, so don't get too cocky, you hear me. Tetsu left as the whole class was silent from his sudden appearance. Well, that was interesting. Gyro decided to be the first one to speak up. I forgot about 1B. It seems like we will have more competition than we thought. Ida pondered at that while Izuku went to the doorway. Well, I am not worried. I have come too far to be intimidated, and besides there is some time before the festival, and I plan to train like no tomorrow. Izuku smirked, causing the others to cheer up. Yeah, I want to blow the socks of everyone in the crowds with my performance. Mina jumped up and down in excitement. Dude, how are you so manly? Kirishima let out a few tears. Then I believe our first step will be the Usj. We can start our improvement there and prepare for the sports festival. Momo said, causing everyone to get hyped up more. Plus Ultra, the class cheered as they left the class. I now can't wait for the festival. I will show the world the future #1 hero and world's greatest swordsman. Izuku held his fist out, goosebumps covering his arms. Usj. All right, take 2. Today we will finally do some rescue training. Aizawa says as he stands before Class 1A, back inside the Usj with 13. The class was a little nervous since this is where they got attacked, and some were afraid that they would get attacked again. It's crazy that we're back here. Just standing here has me feeling a little tense. Zoro says what a lot of them were feeling. I know, right? Mina exclaims as she rubs her arms to get rid of her goosebumps. At least I have better clothing options this time, Toru says as she waves her body, but only her gloves and shoes were seen. It's cool that you finally have some protection, Hagakure, Izuku says, making Toru giddy. Toru finally has gotten her updated hero costume. It may still look like she isn't wearing anything, but she is. She sent samples of her hair to a new support company who specializes in quirked clothes. Clothes that will work with her invisibility, protect her from the elements, and keep her modesty. The new costume is a short-sleeved chartreuse-colored jumpsuit that once worn by Toru will turn invisible along with her. Toru is grateful for this because she thought the jumpsuit would be invisible without her wearing. She was afraid she might lose it once she takes it off and be hard to put on if she doesn't know where the arm and legs holes are. The downside is that Toru can't turn off the invisibility as she wears it, but it's a small price to pay since she didn't want to go commando ever again. Better that people think she's naked rather than actually be naked. It's amazing that I can finally utilize my quirk while wearing clothes. I am so ready for today's exercise. Toru jumps up and down, full of energy. Though it sucks that you have to wear your pea clothes, Deku. Ochako takes notice of what Izuku was wearing. Yeah, my hero costume kinda got lots of rips in it. On the bright side, Mei said she is working on an updated version of it. She said it will still mostly look the same, but it will have better materials and protection. Izuku. Though what bothers me the most is only having one sword. Izuku thinks before 13 gets his class's attention. Now then, we have a lot to do today, so let's get going. 13 announces over the chatter. Are you sure you should be working, 13? You did get hurt pretty badly. Ochako asks, concerned for her favorite hero. My back still stings a bit, but I'm fine. 13 spins in place to show she's okay. Besides, I was the least hurt between Erasure Head and Midoriya, and Erasure Head wasn't able to be fully healed, so I'm more worried for him. 13 points to the cast around Aizawa's leg. We're wasting time. For our first exercise, we are heading to the landslide area. Let's get going. Aizawa turns around and heads down the staircase until Izuku calls out to him. Mr. Aizawa, wasn't All Might supposed to be here? He will be by later. He is busy making sure that the security for today's class is working. Aizawa calls out as he continues moving down the stairs. Rock slide zone. Now let us begin the rescue training. 3 students will be at the bottom of this chasm. 13 gestures to said chasm. Man, that's deep, Kaminari says as he looks over the edge. This height is insane. Kirishima also looked over the edge. What are you two doing? If there were people down there and injured, then yelling about how dangerous the situation they're in won't make them feel safe. It's important to help those in trouble stay calm and ease their worries. Ida yelled out and ran over to the edge. Are you okay? Don't worry, we are here to save you, Ida yelled down the chasm. You know that there isn't anyone down there, Ojiro says, weirded out by Ida's antics. Ida does have a point though. Pros don't freak out, and they don't give civilians reasons to panic. Heroes help calm civilians who are in trouble or who are witnessing something scary. Now I don't want to see any more students saying stupid things, otherwise you will have to write essays as a punishment. Aizawa's eyes glow red with his warning. Yes, sir, the students yell out, understanding the consequences. Back to the training. The 3 students will be acting like hikers that got caught up in a landslide. One will pretend to be unconscious, one with an injured leg, and the other will act very worried. As both Erasure Head and Ida said, when rescuing civilians, we have to make sure whoever we are rescuing is calm. Panicking civilians are harder to rescue and can even make things worse. 13. Is that why us students will play the victims? Because training dummies won't be able to act the part and for us to experience what it's like to be in that kind of situation, Momo asks. Yep, you got it. As I'm sure you kids know, Yua will have you run simulations of what you will encounter as a hero. Now let's go beyond, plus ultra. 13 raises her fist into the air as some students join her cheer. Yeah, let's go save them. Let's do our best, Deku. Ochako waves her arms in excitement and gets close to Izuku. Why, yeah. Izuku smiles nervously as Ochako gets close to him. The other girls except Mina thought that Ochako was getting a little close to Izuku. This is it. Now I can use my abilities to save others. Izuku clenches his fists in preparation. All right, the first 3 injured will be you 3. 13 points at Izuku, Ochako, and Ida. They all stare forward in surprise at the announcement. They're going to save us, the 3 think at the same time. A few minutes later, and the 3 were at the bottom of the chasm. Turns out there is both stairs and an elevator to get to the bottom from the top of the chasm. Nice to know that 13 had designed those things in. Otherwise, we would have had to climb down or something. Izuku thought as he sat down and held his leg. Izuku was selected to be the one with the injured leg, Ochako as the unconscious one, and Ida as the worried one. All right, you four will be the ones to save them, and you may use this rescue equipment as well. Aizawa points to some rope, harness, and a rescue stretcher basket. The four to save them are Momo, Todoroki, Takoyami, and a very reluctant Bakugo. Why do I have to save Deku? Bakugo shook in anger. While he isn't exactly enemies with Izuku, they weren't friends either. More like rivals trying to one-up each other all the time. Because we are training, Tsuyu said plainly. Tsu, you should just leave him. I don't think he was actually asking. Kirishima says, trying to keep Bakugo calm. Help us, please, Ida began shouting in a panicked voice. We don't have time to waste. Who is going down to help? Todoroki stands over the edge looking down. Why climb down at all? Just blow up the mountain. I'll just blow the cliffside into a slope so we can get to them easier. Bakugo lets off some small explosions. Are you insane? That might kill if not horribly hurt them. Momo questions Bakugo's thinking. Bakugo just runs off pure instinct, no thought, all action. Tsuyu. Those three are in trouble if Bakugo has to save them. Kaminari says while picking his nose, the other girls looking at him in disgust. Todoroki sighs. Yaoyorozu create a pulley. We can use that to bring them up. We should start with the unconscious first and have Takoyami go down to help. Then Bakugo, Yaoyorozu, and I can pull them up. Hey, you icy bastard, who made you in charge? Don't go deciding this stuff on your own. Bakugo grabs Todoroki by the collar. I'm not here to play games. Todoroki knocks Bakugo's hand off of him and walks away. And I'm not gonna waste my time training either. You bastard. Bakugo is about to grab Todoroki again, and Todoroki was about to make him stop, until Momo came in between them. Stop it, that's enough. You two are here to be heroes, not bicker with each other like children. Besides, there is something we need to do. Like Aizawa said, we need to reassure the victims that things will be all right. Momo leans over the edge and yells out, Please remain calm. We are gonna get you out. Us heroes are here to help. Thank you. Please hurry, Ida yelled out as Ochako tried not to break character and laugh at his overacting. Momo stands back up and looks over at Todoroki and Bakugo. If you aren't going to do this properly, then what kind of training is this? What are you learning? Because if you two keeping acting like this, then you will get nothing from this and won't even become pros. Todoroki is shocked to find out how right Momo was, and Bakugo clicks his tongue in annoyance that she does have a point. That's impressive. Kirishima stunned by Momo's actions. She's good. Mina impressed as well. Soon the four have set up a pulley system. Todoroki iced the edge to prevent any friction cutting the rope as Takoyami was being sent down in the harness to help the three pretend victims. Takoyami, be careful when descending down. Go at a slow pace with the rope so you don't risk falling. Momo yelled out as Bakugo and Todoroki used the pulleys and ropes to lift him down. Understood. Takoyami climbed down the chasm until he reached the bottom. Hey Takoyami, Izuku greeted nonchalantly. Hey, sorry for the wait. Takoyami greeted back as Ida scurried to Ochako. Uraraka, we're saved. You're gonna be okay, Ida cried tears of joy, really acting like his life was in danger. That only made Ochako giggle harder, and had to cover her mouth to stop her from laughing and breaking character. All right, I'm gonna place Uraraka onto the stretcher first since she is unconscious, Takoyami said as he prepared the stretcher. I don't think we are allowed to help you, and I think it's dangerous for one person to move someone unconscious, Ida says, snapping out of his acting. But I'm not alone. In fact, I'll never be alone. I'm 2 in 1. Takoyami smirked as dark shadow came out from beneath his cloak. The others stare in amazement. There's not much light down here, but this amount of darkness is manageable. Tokoyami. Dark Shadow, please take your Araka up back to the top. Tokoyami turned to face the shadowy creature. Quiet you, I don't want to. Dark Shadow crossed his arms. Just do it, you damned being of the night. Tokoyami. ***, let's get this over with. Dark Shadow helped place Ochako into the stretcher basket and helped her up as the hero group pulled to lift her. Keep her safe, she might be in need of medical attention. Tokoyami. This is so cool. Ochako thought as Dark Shadow helped her. Heaven's sake. Dark Shadow said as he kept the stretcher balanced. Although I saw him in action during battle training, Dark Shadow is an amazing quirk. Izuku watches in amazement. He has his uses like any other tool, even if I cannot separate from him. Tokoyami said before being caught off guard by Izuku. But he is more than just a tool. He is a partner who will always have your back, and I think that's amazing. Izuku said as he watches Dark Shadow. Tokoyami was surprised to hear this, but was happy that someone saw his quirk as amazing. Ochako soon made it to the top and Ida started praising the heroes. Thank you, heroes. PFFT haha, he's so serious. Ochako laughed as she was helped off the stretcher by Momo. Don't laugh. He's taking his role seriously, and that's a good thing. Momo. Exactly. He is way too over the top at taking this seriously that I can't help but chuckle at it, even if I don't want to. Ochako clasped her hands over her mouth to keep her from laughing. You heroes are the best. Thank you, Ida yelled out again. It's nice that he is doing his best. However, I can kind of understand where your Araka is coming from. Momo's sweat dropped as she prepared the stretcher to be sent down again. Let's get the next victim up. Todoroki got ready to let the stretcher down again while Bakugo clicked his tongue. Shut up and just do it. Bakugo got his end of the rope ready. Meanwhile, the rest of the class were watching the 3 and 13 started speaking again. Without quirks, rescuing people is a way more taxing job. That is when modern heroes must shine. 13 threw her hands up into the air. Yeah, but he's only pulling while the others are able to use their quirks to help out. Zoro smirked while pointed to Bakugo, who got angry at that comment. Shut it, you bastard, Bakugo yelled out as he kept lowering the stretcher. He judged that he could not use his quirk, and that is the right thing. 13 said, causing Zoro to stop smiling. A great modern hero is still able to save others without quirks or support items, acting in a normal way, something that not a lot of professionals are able to do. There are those who always think of themselves, but when faced with a challenging situation, they put it aside. 13 looked back at Bakugo. As I said from the first trip here, some of you have quirks that if mishandled can cause great harm or damage. One of the things you will learn here is to know when it is a good time to use your quirk and when it isn't. When you understand and remember this fact, you pass. He already learned this, and I'm sure that he will become a beautiful hero. 13. Beautiful? Ha! He will never be beautiful. Zoro joked. I will murder him. Bakugo thought as he started planning Zoro's demise. After a few minutes later, the hero team rescued Izuku and the others. Then other groups did the same exercise until almost everyone went. Finally, it was Izuku, Ajiro, and Ochako's turn to rescue, with Tsuyu being one of the ones they had to save. Ochako used her quirk to gently float down the chasm to help. Once she rescued the unconscious person first, Ochako then helped put a splint on Tsuyu's leg, and she secured the harness onto Tsuyu to be pulled up. All right, now it might be a little scary, but try not to move Tsu. Okay, ribbit. Tsuyu said as she got ready. Ochako then used her quirk on her and made start floating upwards to the top of the chasm, where Izuku and Ojiro were waiting. Ojiro had the rope to guide Tsuyu to not bump into anything, and to catch her if Ochako accidentally released her quirk, and Izuku's job was to catch Tsuyu once she reaches the top. Get ready, Midoriya, here she comes. Ojiro pulls the rope in as Izuku got into position. I got it. Izuku saw Tsuyu reach him, and he got his arms underneath her. You're a Raka, you can do it now. Ojiro yelled out. Ochako nods her head once she hears him and releases her quirk. Tsuyu dropped a few inches before Izuku caught her in a princess carry. I gotcha, don't worry, you're safe. Izuku smiled to reassure Tsuyu, but that only made her blush. He's so strong. Tsuyu thinks as Momo and Gyro are getting a little jealous that she got to be princess carried by Izuku. With her embarrassment reaching its peak, Tsuyu tapped Izuku on his shoulder to get his attention. Thanks for the save, but can you let me go now? It's embarrassing. Alright, sorry, Izuku blushes too. By the way, my splints were put on wrong. Tsuyu points to her leg and Izuku sees that Ochako put it on wrong. Oh, sorry. Izuku sets her down and puts the splint on properly. As Izuku did this, Tsuyu started blushing harder at him, touching her thighs and calf. God, this is embarrassing, but I strangely don't hate this. Tsuyu gets her leg resplinted and tries to calm down. 13. We have rescued everyone. Ojiro says after pulling Ochako back up. Great work. Now I saw some good things all around, but there are a few things that need to be improved on. However, I must say you all did a good job for your first time at rescuing. We still have a few other rescue scenarios prepared, and that means there's still a lot to do today. 13 announced. Well, this is going to be a long day, Kaminari said as some of the others nodded their heads in agreement. Do not relax, Aizawa said, catching everyone's attention. Class is still in session, and we are not even halfway done. It won't be a while till you get a break, so there won't be a moment's rest anytime soon, Aizawa said coldly. Seriously, we don't get to take a breather after every exercise, Kaminari gulped. Heroes often don't get time to rest after saving someone. There are a lot of times when once we save someone, we immediately need to run off to stop a crime or save someone else. So, don't get too comfortable. We need to move to the next exercise. Aizawa and 13 started to head to the next exercise. The students looked at each other before they started to follow their teachers. For the next few hours, the students took part of other rescue exercises in the different zones, learning what to do and how to handle the various situations they would encounter as pro heroes. They had just finished a kind of hide-and-seek exercise, where they had a more realistic and genuine first-hand experience at rescuing. Again, some students played the part of victims, but this time they could hide anywhere is the disaster zone, and their condition would be unknown to the rescuers. The students who were rescuing had a time limit to find them all of the victims. Then the teams would be switched for the next group until everyone was both a victim and rescuer. That last exercise was way more intense since the hero team didn't know where the victims were and how injured they were. Izuku was talking to his friends as they walked to the last exercise. Even worse, some of the ones hiding couldn't say anything or move from their spots since they were selected to be one of the few unconscious victims. That made finding them much harder. Momo. I got lucky with that though. My quirk allows me to hear even the slightest breathing from the victims. Gyro. True, and because I am invisible, I doubt anyone would have found me if Gyro wasn't one of the heroes seeking us. Toru. I knew being a hero wouldn't be easy, but Yua is surprising me with how much harder it actually is from what I originally thought. Still, I am ready to do whatever it takes to be the best hero I can be, Ida. Yeah, Ochako yelled, joining Ida in his enthusiasm. Everyone, listen up, Aizawa yelled to get everyone's attention, which it does. We are now on the last exercise, and it will be the hardest. That causes everyone to worry. So far, all of the exercises have been challenging, some easier than others. For this last one to be the hardest, this had everyone was worried for what the tired teacher had in store for them. Haha, I am here, as the last obstacle for you all to face. Everyone's eyes widened as they heard the number one hero's voice and dreaded what he meant by him being the last obstacle. They turned to find All Might on top of a crumbled building with a piece of paper on his chest saying villain. "Oh no, a villain has captured a hostage," Aizawa said in the most bored monotone voice. "The last exercise for the day is that you students need to save a hostage that a villain has captured." 13 joined in, with far more energy than Aizawa, and pointed to said hostage. The hostage was Midnight with a piece of paper attached to her costume as well, hers saying damsel in distress. "Help me, heroes," Midnight hamming up her role and clearly enjoying herself. "Wait, why is Miss Midnight here?" Ida asked the teachers with everyone else curious as well. "She was assigned to help make sure that no villains interrupt us again. Since 13 and I can't really fight, she joined today's class to help protect you guys if something happened again." Aizawa gestures to his leg and 13's back. She was also asked by All Might if she could help with the last exercise by playing the hostage. "That makes sense," Izuku said, getting used to Yua's shenanigans. "Glad to be here. I couldn't pass this chance to have a little fun." Midnight winked from atop the rubble, posing seductively as she did so. "For the last exercise, you kids have to save the hostage before time is up. You all will be taking part, so make sure to work together. Also, the villain will try to stop you, and you need to find a way to save the hostage without causing any damage in the area. Heroes don't cause property damage, they stop it. Now you don't have to capture the villain, but be prepared. He won't make this easy for you students." 13. "You want us to fight All Might? That's impossible," Sato yelled out as his eyes bulged out of his skull. "Isn't that like asking a toddler to fight a grown man?" Kaminari yelled as he was shaking in fear. Man, young Midoriya was right. If they are freaking out this much at the thought of going against me, despite knowing I wouldn't dream of hurting them, then I can't imagine how they would have reacted if I disguised myself and took one of them hostage. Good thing I changed my plan." All Might coughed to get the students' attention. "Fear not, students, I will not be fighting back," All Might said with air quotes. "I will only try to slow you down, if not outright stop you. I will not fight any of you or try to hurt you. In fact, in order to give you all a chance to win, I won't be using my full power. Now, a hero's priority in this kind of situation is to save any hostages before dealing with the villain. However, since today's class is about rescuing, you only have to focus on saving the part. Are you newbies ready?" All Might got into a fighting stance. The class was thankful that they don't have to full-on fight All Might, but still a little nervous. Todoroki got in front and placed his right foot forward. "I don't want to waste any time, so let's get this over with." SSH Inc. Todoroki sends an ice wall towards All Might. All Might smiles though and reels his fist back. Detroit Smash. All Might throws the tiniest punch, but it was still strong enough to send an air blast that shatters all of the ice. Now, you are gonna have to do better than that." Todoroki is shocked that his ice was easily blown away. He sends another wave, but again All Might sends another air blast that shatters the ice. "You do know one of the definitions of insanity, right? Trying the same thing and hoping for a different outcome. That won't take me down." All Might smirks, causing Todoroki to scowl. "What the hell? I didn't know he had ranged attacks, Zoro. Makes sense that the #1 hero has ways of dealing with stuff he can't get close to. *ribbit Tsuyu. "Ha, dumbass, that won't work. Ha ha ha." Bakugo pointed and laughed at Todoroki, causing him to scowl harder. Bakugo was suddenly stopped when All Might sent an air blast that knocked him over. Damn it, Bakugo got back up in anger. Young Bakugo, don't fault him for trying. However, time is running out, heroes. What are you gonna do, All Might? "Please save me," Midnight called out while waving her hands. He's right. Our best option is for all of us to work together to have any chance of winning. Izuku put on his bandana as he got ready. "Do you really think that's our best choice of action?" Shoji looked a little doubtful. "I think Midoriya is right, man. This is All Might we're going against. Even if he's holding back, this won't be easy. But by working together, we may be able to save Midnight, So I say we should go for it. Kirishima hardened his arm as he got ready to charge forward. Shoji and the rest of the class nodded their heads. They all got ready to charge ahead. Then you extras just need to follow my lead. The one who gets first blood will be me. Bakugo rocketed towards All Might, his explosions eclipsing everyone behind him. All Might sent more air blasts, but Bakugo dodged them all. Young Bakugo is quite clever. He is paying attention to where I'm throwing my punches so he can predict where the air blasts will be going, thus letting him know where to move to not get hit. However, let's see if he can handle this. All Might stepped forward and slammed his hands together, sending out a thunderclap. Bakugo's eyes widened as he wasn't able to dodge out of the way of All Might attack, causing him to hit the ground. God damn it, Bakugo got back up but didn't charge forward again. Wait, why is he not moving? All Might thought as he looked down at Bakugo. He wasn't able to look for long since from out of the smoke the rest of the class charged forward. I see, he used his explosions to cover everyone else. All Might saw something in the air heading to him. He dodged out of the way to see it was some metal nets aiming for him. He turned to see Momo firing more nets from a gun she made. And young Yayurazu is trying to capture me from the air. Smart, since even if I focus too much on dodging the nets, I forego stopping the others from coming at me. This class is pretty wild. All Might grabbed one of the nets and threw it back at Momo. Momo saw this and jumped out of the way in a panic. While successfully avoided the attack, her net launcher got caught instead. Smart move, but you should think of the possibility of being attacked yourself, young Yayurazu, and the risk of giving your enemy a way to attack you or your teammates. All Might grabbed the other two nets and threw them at other members of the class. Zoro and Mina were freaking out as the nets were coming at them. They both used their quirks to stop the nets, Mina melting hers and Zoro wrapping his. However, before they could celebrate their victorious defense, All Might sent some air blasts that sent them back to the bottom of the collapsed building. All Might sent out a few more blasts that sent most of the class flying back down as well. Izuku saw this and went to Bakugo. We need a plan. I have a plan. Destroy anything in my way, Bakugo. A better plan than that. Listen, I have something that can help us, but we need a distraction. And if done right, then you can capture All Might. Izuku. Bakugo is surprised by what Izuku says and smiles. All right, I'm willing to listen. What do you have in mind? Izuku then whispers the plan to Bakugo, who silently listens until he was finished. Not bad. All right, I'll do it. But only because I get to capture All Might, Bakugo. Great, I will grab the things, then I will hand you some stuff. Izuku runs off to some of his classmates while Bakugo charges at All Might again. A few minutes go by with the students trying to get to All Might but hadn't had any luck. Time's a-wasting you newbies, All Might mock at the top of the collapsed building. This had the students get a little irked at the hero, but were getting tired from being knocked down so much. However, Shoji, Sato, Kirishima, and Todoroki soon started charging again. The four ran to the sides of the building to surround All Might. Hope this plan of yours works, Midoriya, Kirishima yells as runs forward. Once Todoroki got close enough, he placed his foot down as he unleashed one of his greatest ice attacks. If I'm this close, he shouldn't be able to stop my ice and stop the others at the same time. Todoroki. Come on guys, he can't stop all of us. Kirishima hardened his arms to strike. Shoji was silent as he grew extra arms and Sato just yelled. Actually, All Might held his arms out and quickly spun in place. He became a mini tornado that sent the four flying away and stopping the ice. I can. Strange, why didn't the whole class join in? They would have had a better chance if they did that. All Might then saw some rubble fall down despite nothing being there. All Might then quickly went up to Midnight and waved his hands low. All Might then felt something and grabbed onto what seemed to be a leg. Lifting it up, All Might smirked as he found what he was looking for. Hello, young Hagakure. Hello, All Might, Toru said, disappointed that she got caught. You were clever, sneaking around while your foe is distracted. Too bad for you that I have a lot of experience with sneaky villains. Sorry to say your plan has failed. All Might grabs a nearby rebar pole from the rubble and bends it into makeshift handcuffs to capture Toru. Well, not really, Toru says, confusing All Might. And what do you mean by that? All Might notices that the other students haven't tried to charge the hill again. If I failed to save Midnight, then I can at least be another distraction for you, Toru says cheerfully as a smokescreen appeared. What the? All Might then blew the smoke away with a punch, but nothing was there. Don't worry, ma'am, I hear. All Might spun around to see Izuku was climbing the building from behind and had almost reached Midnight. Not today, hero. All Might was about to rush toward Izuku until he heard an explosion. Turning around, All Might saw Bakugo sailing towards him with something in his hand. Gotcha, you bastard! Bakugo started to spin around a piece of Zero's tape. What the? All Might soon got wrapped up in the tape and then was shoved by Bakugo. Bakugo used an explosion to push All Might into a large piece of rubble. That with the balls and tape had him stuck to it. The heroes win, Midnight exclaimed as Izuku had reached her and picked her up in a bridal carry. She then hugged Izuku, making him blush. All Might was shocked that he lost, but smiled that Izuku managed to pull a fast one on him. Great job, young Midoriya. I must congratulate you. Thanks, All Might. Izuku set Midnight down, causing her to pout, and was joined by the rest of the class who cheered for their victory. Then Aizawa and 13 walked to the group. Congratulations, you've won. Aizawa. Great job, everyone, 13 cheered along. That was so cool. How did you do that, Deku, Ochako? Well, the plan was to have Todoroki, Kirishima, Shoji, and Sato to make one last charge at All Might, and for Toru to try to sneak by as they did so. However, I knew that the odds of that working were slim, so that was only the first distraction. I asked Ieyasu to make me some smoke grenades, asked Mainta for some of his balls and Zero for some tape. I used the balls and tape to make an impromptu capture weapon that I gave to Kaken. The backup plan was I would also start climbing as Hagakure started to sneak by. If she got caught, I would use the grenades and yell to Midnight that things would be okay to distract All Might again. The distraction would allow Kaken to reach All Might, and once he did, he would use the capture weapon to stop him as I got to Midnight. Izuku. That right. We won because I captured All Might, the #1 hero. I told you extras that I'm the best. Bakugo laughed out, causing everyone to sweat drop. Not bad. Flawed, but not bad. Aizawa jumped in and pulled out a tablet. With that, I can now say you all get a passing grade for your first rescue training exercise. Haha, good job, young newbies. All Might broke free from rubble, tape, and balls, laughing in joy that the class was able to come together and win. All right, most of the class cheered. Don't let this go to your heads, though. Things are only going to get harder. Now it's time to head back to the buses. School will soon be over. Aizawa started the trek back to the entrance with everyone else following. As everyone headed to the buses, they were happy that the return to the UST was way better than the first. The only thing to worry about now was the sports festival coming soon. As they got on the bus back to the campus, everyone started to chat along the way. By the way, I have something I wanted to talk about. Momo turned to look at Izuku, Ochako, Gyro, Ida, and Tsuyu. They were all grouped up in the back of the bus to chat easier. What's up, Gyro? I'm sure some of you have heard of it before. The Hero Festival will be coming up soon. Momo. Oh yeah, because loads of people come in to watch the sports festival, some businesses came up with the idea to have another festival a few days before the sports festival starts. That way it gives some people the chance to enjoy themselves if they couldn't get a seat in the stadium to watch the sports festival. Izuku. Not only that, but it does many other things as well. It helps the economy with the stalls those individuals or businesses set up. encourages more tourism, and promotes hero-related stuff. They also celebrate anything hero-related, hence the name, Ida. The thing is that my family does business for the festival. One of the things we help with is a section that showcases new hero support equipment, costumes, and even sells heroes some items. Momo. That's amazing. What does your family do, Momo? Ochako looks at her friend in excitement. Oh well, my family does a lot of promoting for the festival. Momo answers nervously. My parents own and run the Yayurazu conglomerate. One of the businesses they own does promotional work for many different companies, including some hero-related ones. That's wild, Ochako exclaimed. I didn't know that your family was that wealthy. Gyro. I just don't like to talk about it too much. In my old school, others would treat me differently if they found out. Like they have to be careful around me so that they don't upset me, afraid that I would do something to them if that happened. Or they thought that if they became friends with me, then I could give them whatever they wanted. Even worse, some thought that I was prideful and looked down on everyone else because I come from a wealthy heritage. Momo frowns. However, I don't like to use my family's influence like that. I just want to chat and have fun like anyone else. Instead, I had people be afraid of me, thought I was arrogant, or tried to be my friend to get something from me in return. Nobody wanted to get to know me. Momo hangs her head down, saddened by her memories of her old school. She was shaken out of it from Ida tapping on her shoulder. I understand how you feel. Because I come from a family background of long lineage of heroes, others thought that I was a golden ticket to help them. They thought if they became friends with me and were nice to me, then I could get them money, access to places, even get away with stuff like petty theft. But I wouldn't allow that. I made it clear that I wouldn't do that kind of stuff. Which is why I'm glad that once you guys became my friends, you didn't treat me any differently. Ida also frowns at his memories of his old school. The others were sad at hearing what Ida and Momo went through. Izuku especially because he knows what it like to be treated differently. We are your guys' friends. We won't act like you can be our personal piggy bank or be cautious of you because we would be afraid of what you would do to us. And we know you two aren't spoiled rich kids looking down on us. We will treat you guys like what you are, our friends. Nothing more, nothing less. Izuku smiles with the others joining in and nodding in agreement. Ida and Momo smile back. I'm thankful for that. Truly. Momo seconded Ida. There was a moment of silence until Gyro decided to break it. Anyway, why did you bring up the Hero Festival, Momo? Momo perks up and smiles. The thing is, my parents got me tickets to access the hero equipment selling section. Isn't that the section where support companies show off their newly developed support equipment for heroes to buy and is exclusive access only, Izuku? Indeed, it's so that I can look at the products and buy what I think I need or want because I'm training to be a hero. Hero students are allowed to buy equipment as well, if you can provide proof that you are hero students. My parents also said I could invite my friends along as well, and I wanted to ask if any of you guys wanted to come. Momo. I'm down. Sounds like an awesome time to enjoy ourselves before the sports festival. Gyro. Me too. I may not be able to buy anything, but it still sounds fun to take part of it. Ochako. I would like to join as well. However, I will be busy that week. I must sadly decline. Ida. I can't go either. I have to look after my younger siblings. Tsuyu. I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe another time then. Midoriya, what about you, Momo? I would love to go. This is actually perfect timing. Izuku smiles, and he looks at his sword. What do you mean, Ochako? Because my two other swords got destroyed, I need replacements. I tried asking May if she could make them again, but she said no. She said that since the two she made me before weren't that well built, she won't make any more until she improves her skills. However, my sword style needs 3 swords, so I need to get replacements. Izuku unsheathed the Wado Ikemanji a little to look at the blade. I told May that I still need 2 more swords and that I will buy them when I get the chance. Thankfully she understood, and since then I have been looking for any good sellers or stores. The Hero Festival's equipment section will be a great place to look for some swords. Izuku. Does the festival even have booths or stalls that sell swords, Gyro? Actually, they do. With the appearance of quirks and heroes, many have been using swords more often. Heroes especially because they can help them utilize their quirks for better combat effectiveness and may even be used in tandem with their quirk. Momo. Yep, and I know that the festival has some sword sellers. Izuku? Okay, but if it's all right with her, couldn't you ask Momo to make you some swords, Tsuyu? With how we were just talking about how she and Ida were treated because of their backgrounds, it would feel wrong to ask that. Izuku rubs the back of his head. And I thank you for that. Also, because of my quirk, I can easily ruin the economy if I created things haphazardly, so I prefer not to risk that. Momo. Besides, she is still helping out a lot since I was trying to figure out how to get a pass for that section. And I get to hang out with my friends too, so thanks Momo. Izuku smiles, causing Momo to blush. And no problem, Midoriya. I'm just glad that I can help you. Momo smiles while the other girls get a little jealous. ***, so what day are we going on and where should we meet up? Ochako says, trying to take her mind off whatever feeling was bubbling inside herself. Oh right. Momo shook out of her stupor and pulled out her phone's calendar. The 4 decided on a day that worked for them and had it scheduled. Great, this is going to be fun. I haven't hung out with friends since. Ever. I just hope I can find some good swords there. Izuku smiled as he set the date in his phone. A few days later. Izuku had gotten ready and went to the Hero Festival. He put on some jeans, shirt that said festival on it, and a backpack to carry water and any souvenirs he bought. He also brought the Wado Ikamonji in a carrying case so he wouldn't get in trouble. Izuku had just gotten to the festival entrance and was waiting for the others. Midoriya, Deku over here. Yo Green. Izuku hears his friends calling him and finds Momo, Ochako, and Gyro by one of the stalls near the entrance. Izuku would never say this out loud, but he thought all the girls looked really pretty in normal clothes. Gyro was wearing some jeans, t-shirt that says Deep Dope, and purple zip-up hoodie. Ochako was wearing brown pants, a white shirt, and a green satchel that also had water in it. Finally, Momo was wearing brown boots, a plaid skirt with leggings, and a sweater. Hey, glad to see we're all here. Izuku walks up to the 3. Did you guys have to wait long? No, in fact, we just got here a few minutes ago. Momo smiles. But you know I'm not surprised to see that you brought your sword with you. Gyro points to the case. Well, if I'm going to buy some swords, then I need to test if I can dual wield them with the Wado. No point in buying something that would feel weird or comfortable with what I already have. Izuku scratches the back of his head. Wait, wouldn't it be called tri-wielding if you use 3 swords? Ochako asks, causing Izuku and Momo to think about it for a second. I don't believe so. Manly because by definition is dual wielding is when you hold a weapon in each hand and Midoriya isn't just using his hands to hold all 3 swords together. But enough about that. What do you guys want to do first, Momo? Even though I want to buy swords, I can wait a bit. Besides, doesn't the equipment section open later, Izuku? Correct. The equipment section doesn't open till later today. Momo pulls out the tickets and shows that it opens at 2:30. In that case, I say we look around first, then grab some grub. Gyro points her thumb over to some nearby stalls. Yeah, this will be so much fun, Ochako cheers enthusiastically. The group walks around checking out the stalls and having a good time, joking, laughing, and enjoying what the stalls are offering. Izuku got a laugh out of the girls when he tried on some masks of some pro heroes and doing impressions of them. After about 1 hour of looking around, the group got some food. Momo insisted on paying since her parents gave her extra cash for food, something Ochako appreciated very much. Man, festival food tastes so good. Something about being at a festival and its atmosphere makes certain foods taste better, Ochako says after finishing her meal. Haha, I know what you mean. Gyro cleans up and stretches after standing up. So where to next? Izuku checks his phone and sees that is 2:20. It's almost time for the equipment section to open. If we start heading to it, we should get there by the time it opens. I am a little excited for this. I heard that what they show during this festival has some of the most interesting hero equipment. Momo looks at the tickets. I'm interested as well since my quirk has a lot of uses for support items, like how my costume has speakers built into my boots to use my quirk for combat. Gyro. Oh yeah, I forgot you told us that. Ochako has her finger to her chin as she remembers. She then just smiles and starts walking. Well anyway, this is going to be so interesting. She sure is energetic, but I'm the same since I might be able to find some good swords. Izuku smiles as he walks with his friends. Soon they reach the section and Momo hands over the tickets. Once approved, they were already staring in amazement at all the stalls showing off their products. From capture nets to quirk-powered jetpacks, everything the four saw looked awesome. Wow, Gyro said eloquently, and had the other three nodding in agreement. Ochako then shook in excitement and turned to her friends. What are we waiting for? Let's go! Ochako ran off to the nearest stall. Izuku grinned and soon followed, causing Momo and Gyro to smile as well and joining in. The group spent the next half hour checking out the stalls and booths, looking at all the cool support items and hero gear. However, Izuku was slowly becoming more and more frustrated at the lack of swords. Some of the stalls that sold swords had weird features like a net launcher combined with the sword, which made them much harder to wield. Others had stupid gimmicks like the swords releasing the smell of roses once swung. Izuku just wanted simple, strong swords and was having no luck finding them. After the 11th stall, he was feeling like he will not be able to get even one good sword. The girls noticed this and tried to help out, but didn't have any luck either. What the hell? That stall had swords with some of the dumbest grips ever. Having small spikes on a handle to prevent slipping is one of the stupidest ideas ever, Gyro said as she held her hand in pain from the creator of said sword shoving one of the swords into her hand to try out. Thankfully Momo made her some bandages for her hand to help it heal. If you think that's bad, I was at a stall that bedazzled the swords. I may know next to nothing about swords, but even I know that bedazzling the blade of a sword isn't smart in the slightest, Ochako pouted, upset that she couldn't help her friend. Sadly, a lot of sword sellers try weird ideas and gimmicks to attract customers to their business. Swords haven't been that widely used before quirks, and the market became oversaturated when they became popular again with the appearance of quirks and with those whose quirks could be combined with such weaponry. Now so many companies are trying to be one of the next big weapon manufacturers that some are trying different methods to stand out. But I was hoping to see some famous old swords and look it up in my book from my home's library. Momo pulls the book from her bag. From my own research, when I wanted to get swords before the UA entrance exam, I knew some of these weird sword makers existed. However, I didn't expect so many to be here, and for a lot of the more normal makers to not show up. Izuku cups his chin. But I can't stop looking. Izuku looks around to see if there were any more stalls. As his eyes scan over the stalls, he notices a booth that was very different from the others. This booth didn't have its wares on display. Instead, it was an enclosed tent and was bigger than any of the other booths and stalls. It was at the end of one of the rows of stalls and didn't have a lot of people going to it. The sign above it said Weapons Shop. Have any of you guys tried that booth yet? Izuku points to said booth. The girls all shake their heads no in response. Then let's check it out. The group walked over to the booth and enter through the tent's flaps. Immediately they saw that this booth was way better than the other sword stalls. No gimmicks, no tricks, and no catches, just regular weapons that looked to be a good quality. "Whoa," Ochako said aloud as she looked at the various weapons around. The group then saw someone who they assumed was running the booth. Behind the payment desk was a man with a red nose, almost bald head with the hair on the sides puffing out, and was asleep. Hello?" Izuku asks, causing the man to wake up and see the group. Sensing that they were customers, the man switched into salesman mode, smiled, and greeted them. "Oh, sorry about that, long day, but welcome in. My name is Ipponmatsu. What can I do for you?" Ipponmatsu clasped his hands together. "We are hero students, and I was looking to buy some swords. I have to say I haven't been here for 5 minutes, but I already can tell you have the best swords I have seen in the equipment section so far." Izuku: "That's because those weapon-making amateurs don't have any respect for the craft. If the old methods still work, then why change how we do things?" Ipponmatsu crosses his arms as a portly woman carrying a box comes from the back and gets behind him. "Don't act too high and mighty. You just bought some new machinery for the workshop that helps you make weapons easier." Well, true. But I at least don't add any stupid gimmicks or tricks to my swords," Ipponmatsu yells as the woman smirks. "Anyway, like my wife said, I do use modern machinery to help with my weapon making. However, everything I make is something my ancestors would be proud of. My lineage has been in the blacksmithing business for years." Ipponmatsu sticks his chest out in pride. "I couldn't let those weapon makers to be only ones here since most of the credible bladesmiths are too busy with other matters. So, I offered up my best sword in the festival lotto to be able to set up my booth here. That way I can sell actual good quality blades to the people," Ipponmatsu says happily. Izuku smiles and steps up to the counter. "Then hopefully you can help me. I am looking for 1 or 2 swords, but I don't have that big of a budget. I'm thinking of getting 1 high-quality sword or 2 decent quality ones." Ipponmatsu stares at Izuku for a few seconds thinking. This kid seems like an amateur that breaks his blades if he needs that many swords and is already carrying one. But if he is a hero student, then that makes sense. Ipponmatsu crosses his arms again and speaks. "I should be able to help you. But really quick, are there any other requirements you need?" Ipponmatsu says, his voice being disinterested. "Actually, yes. My sword style uses multiple swords, however I do already have one." Izuku takes his sword case off his back and opens it. "Whatever I buy needs to be comfortable to wield along with this one." Izuku reveals the Watto, and Ipponmatsu's eyes almost pop out. "And no, that couldn't be. That's a nice-looking sword there. Do you mind if I take a look at it?" Ipponmatsu stutters, trying to keep his cool. "Are you okay?" Izuku notices him being weird. "I just want to take a look. Let me see," Ipponmatsu pleads. "Okay, sure, whatever." Izuku passes the Watto over. Ipponmatsu slowly unsheathes it, and his eyes become as big as saucers and has to breathe slowly to try and stay calm. "This is really it. Okay, keep calm. Poker face, poker face. This kid just walked in with a legendary sword. It's showtime. This is a really nice sword you have here. Are you interested in selling it? If so, I can trade you for some of my high-quality swords for it. That should be able to give you what you need." Ipponmatsu gives his best poker face smile. "What? Are you kidding me?" Izuku not liking the idea of selling the Watto. The other girls are surprised that the man wants Izuku's sword. Momo then remembers she has her sword book with her and decides to see if she can find Izuku's sword. That man was acting strangely when he saw the sword. Is it special or something? I should be able to find it in here. What did Midoriya say the sword's name is? Watto or something? Momo flips through the pages as Ipponmatsu starts getting nervous. "How about this? I trade you for 5 of my swords and 100,000 yen? No, wait, 200,000 yen. Actually 500 zizzen yen. Final offer," Ipponmatsu yells. Ochako almost falls to the floor at the amount of money the man is offering. Just stop, Izuku says, stopping Ipponmatsu. I am not selling, the sword is mine. Izuku says with his voice being stern, carrying an air of finality. Okay, fine, if that's how you want to play, 650,000. No? How about 800,000, Ipponmatsu yells. This time Ochako does fall to the floor and almost faints, but Gyro helps stop her from doing so. Wait, stop, Momo yells, causing everyone to indeed stop and look at her. Momo is holding her book with shaky hands and grabs the Wado from Ipponmatsu. Momo looks back and forth between her book and the sword, coming to a conclusion. This sword really is the Wado Ikemanji. Momo has stars in her eyes as she examines the sword. I already knew the sword's name, but is it really that special, Izuku? Stop talking, Ipponmatsu prays. Momo holds the sword up and looks at the blade. This must be one of the 21 great grade blades. Momo shows her book and points to the page about the Wado Ikemanji. See right here, it says that this sword is worth no less than 10 million yen. Momo says excitedly, causing Ochako to finally faint. Gyro tries to wake her, but is also looking over in surprise at the sword's worth. Damn it, why did you have to open your mouth? Ipponmatsu gets angry that the truth about the sword get out. It is a complete waste to have such a legendary sword be attached to the hip of some amateur who doesn't know its true value. Ipponmatsu scowls and looks away. Anyway, if you want a sword on the cheaper end, then I can only offer you a dull blade. You can pick from my lovely selection of blades from the 2 barrels over there for 50,000 yen apiece. Ipponmatsu points to the barrels and continues to scowl over losing the chance to buy a legendary blade. Izuku frowns at the man's attitude, but ignores it and heads to the barrels. Momo gives him back his sword and he ties it to his waist. What's that guy's problem? Well, the Wado Ikemanji is a rare and legendary sword. Maybe he's angry that he couldn't get his hands on it. However, what I want to know is how you came to possess the Wado. This is the one of those things of legends that you don't find just anywhere. Momo. Izuku sorts through the barrels and answers Momo. My master gave it to me. He was the one who trained me in swordplay, and it was originally not even his. It first belonged to his wife, who passed it down to their son. However, Izuku stops for a second before continuing. Both of them passed away. The sword then went to the son's father, my master's hands, and he decided that I should have it. He thought I was worthy of it. Izuku smiles at the memory. I'm sorry to hear that. That kind of loss isn't easy to bear. But I agree with your master. It does seem right for the Wado to be yours. Momo places her hand on Izuku's back and smiles. I agree as well. Gyro jumps in after waking Ochako up. That sword seems like it just belongs in your hands. I agree too, even though I don't what's going on, Ochako exclaims, causing the others to chuckle. Momo fills Ochako in on what just happened as Izuku kept looking through the swords. As he goes through them, Izuku's eye get caught on one in particular. When Izuku grabs it, he immediately notices something odd about the sword. This sword is... Oh, found a good sword, Green? Gyro asks when she sees him pull it out from the barrel. Hold on a sec, I think I saw that sword in my book when I was looking up the Wado. Momo pages through her book again until she finds what she is looking for. Ipponmatsu looks over and starts sweating nervously as Momo looks through her book. Oh no, not that one, Ipponmatsu. Here it is. That sword is Sandai Kaitsu, or Kaitsu III. Its predecessor Kaitsu II is also a great grade blade like the Wado, and Kaitsu I is one of the 12 supreme grade blade. Momo reads aloud from the book. Wait, doesn't the number 1 swordsman have a supreme grade blade? Yoru? Izuku thinks when he hears that the Kaitsu sword line are legendary. Izuku holds the sword out in front of him to get a good look at it. The crossguard or its tsuba is golden and shaped like a rounded cross pate. The hilt is wrapped reddish-brown, with a golden clasp around its middle and a golden pommel. It is also a moderately curved katana with a deep red sheath and has the same design as the hilt, having two golden clasps in short succession around its middle and the end cap also being golden. But hold on, my book says that this sword can go for a lot of money. Momo doesn't say the actual price aloud so Ochako doesn't faint again. It's 2 grades down from the Wado, but is still a good sword. Excuse me, sir, but are you really selling this sword for 50,000 yen? Momo turns to ask Ipponmatsu. Yeah, Ipponmatsu says quietly. Unbelievable, this sword is an authentic grade sword. You have to buy that sword, Midoriya. You can't pass it up, it's too valuable. Momo says excitedly. Izuku doesn't react though and just stares at the sword. Izuku then unsheathes the blade and examines it as well. The blade has a white edge and a distinct blue hamon that has the appearance of flames, and Izuku continues to stare at the blade. Damn it, no, I can't sell it, Ipponmatsu yells out. Momo frowns as she faces Ipponmatsu. I didn't think so, I knew it was a mistake. There is no way this is a legendary sword. It's not a mistake, Ipponmatsu cuts Momo off. It's not what you think, Ipponmatsu says, confusing the girls. Izuku turns the sword in his hand and then slices downward. The sword is cursed. Izuku states, confusing the girls even more and surprising Ipponmatsu. How did you know? Ipponmatsu asks in disbelief. I just do, Izuku. Wait a minute, a cursed sword? Aren't the both of you too old for these kinds of tall tales? Gyro says jokingly, but got worried when the two looked like they were serious. We're not joking. The Kaitsu swords are superior swords in all regards, but they have been cursed since their beginnings. You have to believe me. There are stories from all over the world of master swordsmen who have met their end after picking up a Kaitsu sword. Anyone who knows about these stories refuses to even touch a Kaitsu sword. Ipponmatsu hangs his head down. This sword has been in my family's possession for years after one of my great-uncles died after wielding the sword. His brother inherited it but knew he shouldn't ever wield it and had it be passed down our family's line to prevent its curse from hurting anyone else. My grandfather once tried taking it to a shrine to remove the curse, but even the priests weren't able to help. You will fall to its curse too if you take the sword. I'm scared to let you buy it, in fear that it will curse me as well. Just leave it alone. Ipponmatsu. Izuku lifts the sword up and smirks. Sounds great, I think I'll take it. The girls whip their heads to look at Izuku. Wait, you heard all of that and you still want to buy it, Ochako? I can't sell it, you fool. If something happens to you, the curse could come back to me, *thwack**. Ipponmatsu gets hit in the back of his head by his wife. If he wants to buy it, then sell it, you old fool. I never believed in the curse anyway. Don't hit me, Ipponmatsu and his wife argued. Well, we'll see. Izuku continues to smirk. Let's find out which is stronger, the sword's curse or my good luck. Huh? Ipponmatsu and his wife? Huh? The girls also say. Izuku then tosses the sword up into the air, the sword spinning along the way. No, the girls scream out. Izuku ignores them and then sticks his left arm out. Stop it! You're going to chop your arm off, Ipponmatsu yells to stop Izuku, but he still ignores them. Izuku closes his eyes as the sword starts falling back down. The girls are stuck in place, paralyzed and unable to move except gasp. The sword continues to spin and is about to come in contact with Izuku's arm. However, when the sword reaches him, it spins around his arm with the back end of the blade being the side that almost touched him. Completely missing his arm, the sword falls and embedded itself into the ground. Everyone was silent as most were expecting Izuku's arm to come off suddenly but doesn't. Izuku opens his eyes and grins. I'll take it. Ipponmatsu, Gyro, and Momo drop to their knees while Ochako fainted again. Izuku removes the sword from the ground and sheathes it as he walks up to the counter. So got any other swords like this one? Ipponmatsu shakily gets up and shakes his head no. Sadly, I don't. I had to offer my best sword for the festival's lotto for a spot here, so Kaitsu is the next best. All of my other swords are not as good. That's too bad, but I at least found a great sword. It was 50,000, right? Izuku asks as he takes out his wallet. No, for you it's free of charge. Ippenmatsu says, surprising Izuku and the girls. My shop is small, but I see a lot of swordsmen. However, I haven't come across a real swordsman in a while, so it would be an honor if you take the kaitsu. I'm sorry for trying to cheat you before. You must have some damned good luck. You should try out the lotto with that kind of luck. That way you can maybe get my other sword. Ippenmatsu grins. Izuku smiles and attaches both his swords to his hip. Thanks. Izuku then walks out of the tent booth, causing the girls to realize that they need to catch up to him. Gyro and Momo pick Ochako up and run out after Izuku. Oh, what the hell? You can't buy me anything nice, but you just gonna give him our last best sword for free? Ippenmatsu's wife. That sword belongs in the hands of a true swordsman. Ippenmatsu. Then how about you take out the garbage? Yes, ma'am. Ippenmatsu doesn't argue and grabs the trash bag, but smiles along the way. The four made a stop at a bench to wake Ochako up. When she comes to, they explained everything that happened. So, Deku got a cursed sword for free? Ochako raises her eyebrow. When you say it like that, it doesn't sound as good. Or cool. It sounds like he got ripped off or scammed. Gyro scratches her cheek. But that is what happened, though I'm unsure about the whole cursed sword aspect. However, Midoriya doesn't seem to mind. Momo points to Izuku, who is just looking at his swords and smiling. What can I say? It's perfect. So, what do we do now? Izuku looks to the girls. All three widened their eyes and had to stop and think for a moment. That Ippenmatsu guy said that there is a lotto and that you should try your luck to see if you can win the sword he offered for it. Maybe we should try that, Gyro recalls. He did say that, and there are a lot of good prizes in it, so perhaps we should. Momo. I don't know how I feel about gambling. Ochako says, remembering her parents warning her to be wary of gambling. It's not that bad. Besides, the tickets for it only cost 500 yen, so it's cheap. No harm in just buying one ticket for the heck of it. Gyro reasons. Ochako thinks about for a sec before nodding her head. Yeah, that doesn't sound so bad. Ochako and the rest smile. Then let's get some tickets. I believe they sell them by the stage and will announce the winners in a few minutes. Izuku points to a stall in front of a stage with flashing lights. The group go up and all buy one ticket each. I'm surprised you are not buying more, especially since your luck already got you a sword and let you keep your arm. Gyro smirked. I am still upset that you did that. I almost passed out again when being retold what happened, Ochako fumes. Haha, sorry about that. Izuku smiles as he rubs the back of his head. I just felt like the right thing to do. Anyway, I'm not buying more tickets since if winning is 1,000,000 to 1 shot, then my odds won't increase that much even if I buy 100. In a way that does make sense. Momo cups her chin in thought. Hey, we are not at school, so enough with the math. They are about to do the drawings. Gyro points to the stage as the host greets everyone. Minutes go by as various prizes were given away to the lucky few. The four didn't win anything yet, but they weren't interested in what the prizes were so far, until finally what they were interested in showed up. This next prize was graciously offered by one of the booths and is up for grabs. The host announces as an attendant wheeled in the prize. The host grabs the cloth covering the prize and with a dramatic flourish, reveals it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to present the Yubashiri. The host yells excitedly as the sword becomes visible. The Yubashiri was a long katana with a black handle. It had a cross-shaped guard and a black lacquered sheath. The blade itself was normal in appearance and its pattern was Miderba or irregular pattern. It was considered to be a very light sword. Though mostly black, the sheath and the handle both had thin yet elaborate gold designs on them. The crowd is impressed by the sword and cheered that this sword was a prize. The four friends were also impressed by the sword and wondered who was going to get it. This is a beautiful sword and is sure to be useful for any heroes who fight villains on a daily basis, or as some nice decor in the home. The host's jokes causing the crowd to chuckle. Now let's start the lotto. The host points to a big screen on the stage with some numbers rapidly changing on it. The lucky numbers are 11, 97, and 49. Wait, that's me, Ochako says, shocked that her ticket had those numbers and surprising her friends. Really? The three yell. What's that? Did I hear that right? A lucky little lady over here has the lucky numbers. The host points to Ochako, making her nervous. Maybe? Ochako walks up and shows her ticket. The host checks and smiles. That is indeed the lucky ticket. The sword is yours, though can we give a sword to a minor? The host whispers to the backstage crew. WL, I am a H-Hero student. Ochako pulls out her student ID and shows the host. The host quickly checks with backstage and confirms that she is a hero student. Works for us. With that cleared up, come claim your prize. Ochako nervously steps onto the stage and is handed the sword. Once Ochako is escorted off the stage, she runs to her friends. I won. Congratulations. Momo smiles. Congrats. Who knew we'd have 2 wins today? Izuku. Good job, Ochako. Gyro. Thanks. I didn't expect to win. That was so exciting. Ochako blushes from the congrats. She then holds out the sword in front of Izuku. Here. What? Izuku asks confused. We tried the lotto to get you a sword and we did it, so here. Ochako tries to pass it, but Izuku doesn't move. Sorry, but I can't take your prize. Izuku declines, causing the girls to raise their eyebrows. What do you mean, Momo? Yeah, this was to get you your 3rd sword, but now you don't want it. Gyro? If I want it, sure. However, Uraraka won this, so it's hers. I am grateful, but it would feel wrong to take away something she won. So, I say you get to keep it, Uraraka. Izuku slowly pushes the sword back to Ochako. Ochako is silent as she tries to think of a rebuttal, but one doesn't come. She sees Izuku's kind smile, and it somehow clicks. Like he said on the bus, he doesn't take his friends for granted. Ochako smiles back and looks down at the sword. In that case, would you be willing to help me with something? Ochako looks back up at Izuku. Sure, what's up? I want to be a rescue hero, however. I realize that there will be times I will have to fight. Ochako thinks back on the battle training and the Ust invasion and how little she did. If I want to help others, then the smart thing to do is take down the bad guys before they can cause any damage. Ochako smiles as she holds up the Yubashiri. I can use this sword to do just that, but I will kinda need to learn how to do that, and who better to teach me to you, Deku? Ochako dramatically points at Izuku, who blinks in surprise. You want me to teach you? But I'm still learning myself, Izuku. Nonsense. I worked with you and seen you fight before. You are more than qualified, and it will help out a lot if a friend teaches me, Ochako. Izuku closes his eyes, crosses his arms, and thinks for a bit. After mulling it over, he sighs and looks back at Ochako. I guess I can do that. Yeah. However, Ochako was about to cheer until Izuku stops her. In order to teach you and train you to use a sword, I won't be able to go easy on you. I have to warn you, it will probably be harder than what you're probably thinking it will be and is a long road. Do you think you can handle that? Izuku looks at Ochako seriously. Ochako clenches her fists and holds them to her side up. I'm sure, Izuku smiles. Then I will teach you. Ahim *, now that's over. Can I ask something? Gyro coughs, causing the two to realize that they are still with their friends. Is sorry. What's up? Izuku blushes in embarrassment along with Ochako. Gyro smiles at how funny they are being, but soon turns shy. Well, I was thinking of asking you the same thing. Can you teach me too? Gyro taps her jacks together as she gets nervous. You too? I was also thinking of asking Midoriya to teach me swordplay. Momo says, stunning Izuku even more. Wait, you both want me to train you as well? Izuku takes a step back in surprise. Remember how I said yeah Momo, Kaminari, and I fought villains is the landslide zone during the invasion? Gyro asks, and Izuku nods his head. During that I need something to help me fight in close quarters since my sound's blasts are more of a ranged attack. And I can't use my jacks for close range since any villain with a knife can potentially cut them off. Gyro shivered saying that last bit. The others did as well. Yeah, Momo made me a sword that I was able to kick ass with. Gyro smirks, remembering that. It helped out a lot, but I was feeling tired only after a couple of swings. I was thinking that you can help teach me and I can fix a weakness of mine. Gyro. I as well wish that you can teach me. I have trained to use a quarterstaff and am quite good with it. But during the invasion, the one I made couldn't keep the villains to stay down and eventually got knocked away from me. Momo recalls. I thankfully was able to create a sword that surprised me with how optimal it was. It was easy to render my foes unconscious, unlike my staff. The blade intimidated the villains, causing them to be less aggressive, thus giving me more ways to counter their attacks. Finally, didn't take too many of my lipids to make. Momo counted off on her fingers. It was very helpful in battle, and I wish to learn more. Hence why I was also hoping to ask for your assistance. Will you consider it? Momo pleads as she gave some puppy eyes. Izuku was shocked that these three wanted to learn from him. While he didn't feel like he was experienced enough to teach her, he did want to help them out. Okay then, how about starting tomorrow? I will train you three. Izuku stated, the girls smiling in response. Yeah, this is gonna be great, Ochako. I look forward to it. Momo, I can't wait to get started. Gyro. Great, this is perfect. This can also help us for the sports festival too. Help us show the world what we can do. Izuku cheers. I forgot about that, but that makes this even better. 2 birds with 1 stone. Ochako flashes a peace sign. Izuku, Momo, and Gyro start laughing at Ochako's antics, with her joining in also. I must admit, even though I am nervous about the sports festival, I am also excited for it. Momo clasps her hands together. That's funny, same here. Gyro points her thumb to herself. I feel like I got butterflies in my stomach, but also feeling pumped for it. I know, right? I've seen the US Sports Festival so many times and enjoyed it, but it feels different when you are now taking part in it. Ochako sways back and forth. I can't wait either. I want to show what I'm made of and do the best I can. Izuku. However, to do our best we have some training to do. Let's ask our teachers if we can use one of the gyms for our training tomorrow. Momo proposes. Sounds good. Gyro twirls one of her jacks. Can't wait. Ochako pumps her fist. Same. I'm excited for tomorrow and had a good time today. I don't think it can get any better. Izuku smiles. The next prize is a cool pair of hero goggles. The host announces, causing the group to look back at the stage. Is the lotto still going on? I thought the sword was the last prize. Ochako saying what they were all thinking. Made for heroes to protect their eyes from debris or villain attacks. One of the support companies here offered it as a prize. It is built to last and is tough enough to withstand 10 tons of pressure. The goggles also shield your eyes from blinding lights and gases. The host shows off the goggles. Think Zoro's goggles from the Skypia arc. Now let's roll those numbers. The host points to the screen. The winning numbers are 11. 11. Zuzur. Oh, that's mine. Hold on, those are my numbers. Izuku checks his ticket to see that we just won. It is, Ochako. Oh wow, Gyro. That's amazing. Momo. Congratulations, young man. Come up to get your prize. The host yells as Izuku scrambles to receive what he has won. As Izuku heads down the stage steps, the host goes back to center stage. That's all, folks. Hope you enjoyed the Hero Festival. The host waves as he exits stage left. Izuku is surprised but happy he won something as well. Momo and Ochako congratulate him as he blushes from the praise. Gyro then nudges his shoulder to get his attention. Looks like today got better, huh, Mr. Million to 1 odds? Gyro smirked. I guess it did. Izuku smiles back. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through What If Deku Mastered 3-Sword Style Like Zoro? I hope you found it as intriguing and thought-provoking as we did. A big shout out to GhostKnightTwilight for crafting such a compelling story. Don't forget to check out their profile on Archive of Our Own for more amazing works. The link is in the description below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to What If Deku 2.0 for more fascinating explorations into the world of fanfiction and fantasy. Your support helps us create more content like this, and we're always excited to hear your thoughts and suggestions in the comments section. See you guys in the next video.